single mom discovers the amazing truth: her humble rental was owned by a billionaire gatekeeper. Rachel walked into her modest rental, exhaustion heavy in her bones from another long night waitressing. The creaky floors sighed beneath her tired feet as her two children, Sarah and Liam, greeted her with sleepy smiles. Their laughter filled the small space, drowning out the rustle of unpaid bills piled high on the table. In this home, love and resilience danced like shadows on the walls, and Rachel wouldn't trade it for the world. As she tucked the kids into bed, she noticed a glimmer beneath the basement stairs. Curiosity piqued, she made her way down the dimly lit steps, the air cool and musty. Among old boxes and forgotten treasures, her fingers brushed against something extraordinary, an ancient-looking document. Dust swirled in the beam of her phone light as she wiped it clean, revealing faded ink that sent shivers down her spine. Her humble home had once belonged to a legendary billionaire gatekeeper of the tech industry, a man revered for his innovation yet cloaked in a veil of privilege. The world around her shifted. The rumors swirled within her community like a tempest. How could a single mom, scraping by on 2 jobs, live in what was once a cornerstone of wealth? Wealthy neighbors raised their brows, whispers slicing through the air. Rachel felt the weight of their scrutiny. Each day, she balanced school events, late-night shifts, and groceries, yet now she faced a looming battle for respect and dignity. Life became a tightrope walk. The home she cherished was a badge of honor and a chain of judgment. But Rachel's laughter kept echoing through the walls, a rallying cry in the face of adversity. Friends from her community, moms who understood the grind, dads who held each other up, began to rally around her. They brought meals, help with the kids, and words of encouragement, igniting a fire within her heart. One afternoon, her estranged father, a struggling veteran burdened by his past choices, found the courage to reach out. Their reunions were filled with raw emotions, unearthing years of pain and missed opportunities. It was in these moments Rachel learned to see him through the eyes of compassion, igniting a bond that had once seemed impossible. Then came the annual community gathering, a chance for Rachel's voice to be heard. Heart pounding, she stepped onto the makeshift stage, surrounded by familiar faces. The crowd's murmur faded as she held the document in hand, emotions swirling within her. This place, once a billionaire's, is now a home filled with love and dreams, she declared, her voice trembling with hope. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The audience was silent, stunned. But just then, a confrontational neighbor stood, disbelief etched across his face. Who do you think you are? A tale of privilege doesn't change your reality. Doubt flickered in Rachel's heart. Would her vulnerability shatter barriers or reinforce them? The air charged with tension, and she took a deep breath, steeling herself for the storm ahead. Would her story challenge their notion of success or leave her vulnerable, adrift in a world that barely acknowledged her struggles? The tension in the air was thick, every heartbeat echoing in Rachel's ears. She scanned the crowd, faces a blend of curiosity and skepticism. The man who had spoken, Patrick, folded his arms, his eyes narrowing like a hawk assessing its prey. Privilege. You mean that woman who can barely scrape by? He continued, unleashing laughter that rippled through the gathering. Rachel felt her cheeks flush. Doubt tried to creep in like a shadow. But amongst the murmurs, she heard a voice, tiny yet fierce. Stop it, Dad. Why are you being so mean? Sarah's small face peered from the crowd, innocent and firelit with justice. That moment ignited something in Rachel. If she hadn't known the power of love before, she felt it now surge like an uncontainable wave. Let me finish, Rachel called out, her voice steadied. This home may have belonged to someone wealthy, but it's more than that. It's where I've built my life, my dreams, and it's filled with love, despite what the world thinks. The crowd stirred, whispers mixing with her words. Rachel felt a flicker of connection, a thread binding her story to the lives around her. She continued, "It's about resilience, hard work, and proving that community matters more than money. I may not have a fortune, but I have these two amazing kids and a love that can't be measured." A murmur of encouragement rippled through the audience. Friends nodded, and even a few strangers leaned in closer. Rachel's heart lifted. They were with her. "But you don't understand." Patrick interrupted again, frustration dripping from his words. "This is about status. You can't rewrite your past." A heavy silence descended as Rachel felt the weight of his words. It hurt, but she couldn't back down. "You're right," she said carefully, "I can't change that. But I can change how I see it." Rachel locked eyes with Patrick, fighting the urge to retreat. "I may live in a house once filled with privilege, but that does not define my worth or my children's. We define who we are through what we do with what we have." The crowd shifted, a sense of unease growing. It was high-stakes terrain, as Rachel took a step back, letting the gravity of her words settle. What if they didn't accept her? The fear of judgment wrapped around her thick like mist. Just then, an elderly neighbor, Mrs. Webb, raised her voice. "Rachel, dear, we see how you care. You've built a home of hope here. We know that better than anyone." A ripple of agreement followed and Rachel felt a glimmer of courage sprouting amongst the fear. "We stand with you," shouted another voice, and soon, others echoed the sentiment. Those words lit a fire deep within Rachel. This was her community. They understood her struggles and her triumphs. "Together, we can make this neighborhood better," she continued, emboldened. "It doesn't matter who owned this house before. What matters is what we create together. Who's with me?" The crowd erupted in applause, and for a moment, the adversities and judgments melted away, replaced with cheers of solidarity. But just as hope began to blossom, Rachel caught a glimpse of someone approaching from behind the crowd. A man in an expensive suit, eyes wide as he recognized the house on the old document Rachel held. Unbeknownst to her, he carried a piece to the puzzle that could change everything, both for Rachel and her community. As the murmurs about the stranger grew, Rachel's heart raced. Who was he? And what did he want? Would he bring more challenges, or could he be the key to a brighter future? The man stepped closer, his polished shoes clicking on the pavement, cutting through the humming chatter of the crowd. Rachel felt the heat of the moment swell in her chest, her heart thudding louder with each stride he took. She squinted, trying to catch a glimpse of his face beyond the throng of neighbors now buzzing with intrigue. "Excuse me," he called out, his voice slicing through the noise. All heads turned, and a palpable hush fell over the gathering. Rachel held her breath as he locked onto her gaze, the intensity in his eyes magnetic yet confounding. "Are you Rachel?" he inquired, his tone a mix of urgency and something softer, almost apologetic. "Yes," she answered, her voice steadier than she felt. "Who are you?" "I'm David." He extended a hand. "I need to talk to you about this property. It's important." Rachel's pulse raced. Something about him, perhaps the gentleness in his demeanor, called for her trust. A few people shifted uneasily, clearly unsure whether to approach David or defend Rachel's stand against the looming titan of class disparity represented by Patrick. "What do you know about this house?" Patrick scoffed, his arms crossed tighter. "Haven't you already caused enough trouble?" David frowned at Patrick, his patience wavering. "Actually, it belongs to me, or rather, it did once. It was my family's until it was sold under circumstances no one in this neighborhood knows." His eyes flickered with mixed emotions: regret? Longing? Rachel didn't know, but she sensed the weight of his words. The crowd gasped and murmured amongst themselves. Her breath hitched. "Sold? To whom?" Rachel aimed to keep her voice even. "What does that mean for us?" David stepped forward, lowering his voice as if to quell the growing storm of whispers around them. "I can help." The circumstances surrounding the sale were less about profit and more about, well, family secrets. He hesitated, glancing towards the gathered crowd. I should be stepped in sooner. If your family has been living here, there might be a way to reclaim it. Rachel's heart twisted with sudden hope, tempered with skepticism. Could it really be possible? What's in it for you? Patrick prodded, still protective of the division he had built between Rachel and the crowd. You're just here to stir things up. David's face softened, revealing genuine concern. I grew up here. I wanted to come back, but I didn't know what had happened to the house. It's tied to my past, and I think it can be a bridge to yours. To all of ours. A hush swept over the audience. They could feel the weight of a deep history unfolding, secrets long buried in the shadows of this neighborhood. Rachel's mind whirled with possibilities. Could this man really be a catalyst for change? But then, a familiar voice broke through the silence. What if it's a trick? Sarah piped up worryingly, instinctively moving closer to Rachel's side. Rachel knelt down, placing a gentle hand on her daughter's shoulder. What if it isn't? She said softly, eyes locked onto David's, who watched them both with a gentle urgency that made her gut twist with uncertainty. We can't let fear block our path to a better tomorrow. But doubt lingered like a shadow. Was this the moment they'd been waiting for, or just another empty promise wrapped in a suit? The crowd was buzzing again, exchanging glances between hope and skepticism. As Rachel stood, she felt the swirling emotions, a mixture of resolve and uncertainty. Could they trust David? Did he truly hold the keys to a future they had not dared to dream of? Just then, the wind picked up, and a cold chill ran through her. Whatever David represented could change everything, or nothing at all. When she finally spoke, her voice rang out clear and unwavering. We need to know everything you're hiding, and you better not come here with another empty promise. And as she stood there, buoyed by the support of her community yet anchored by doubt, she wondered what revelations lay ahead, both about the house and the man standing in front of her. Would the truth lead them all closer, or tear them apart? David took a step back, the weight of Rachel's words hanging in the air like a tightrope. There was a flicker of something like fear in his eyes, but it was quickly replaced by determination. I promise you, I don't mean any harm, he said, his voice steady. I want to share everything with you. I owe it to my family and to yours. Your family? Patrick scoffed. This is about them? What do you know about our struggles? Rachel shot Patrick a look, her heart racing. It wasn't just about her anymore, it was about every person who called this neighborhood home. She needed clarity, a sense of direction. Let him speak, she urged. David cleared his throat and shifted his stance. My grandmother, she was the last to live here. The house was meant to stay in our family. Things got complicated after I left for college. I didn't realize it had been sold until I found your family living here. I came back to learn more, to find a way to bring us all together. Rachel felt a wave of mixed emotions. What did he mean by bring us all together? Would digging into this history uncover family ties or just more heartache? The crowd was leaning in now, curiosity overtaking skepticism. David continued, if you let me, I can show you documents, family letters, evidence that the sale wasn't as straightforward as it appeared. There are loopholes. There are stories that need to be told. Rachel glanced at her neighbors. They seemed intrigued, the initial tensions easing. She took a deep breath, thinking of Sarah, and how they might regain what was once lost. Okay, what's the next step? David's expression shifted, a shadow of relief passing over his face. Meet me at the cafe down the street tomorrow at 3. I'll bring everything I have. We can discuss this as a group. Sarah squeezed her mother's hand, her uncertain eyes flickering between Rachel and David. Rachel saw the glimmer of hope there and fought to mirror it. Fine. But we want proof. No more secrets. He nodded, his gaze steady. Understood. Trust is a two-way street. As David turned to make his way back through the crowd, Rachel felt the weight of her decision settle uncomfortably in her chest. Patrick remained, arms crossed, eyes narrowed. You're playing with fire, Rachel. You don't know him. You don't know what he is capable of. Maybe, she replied, her voice quieter now. But what if he is telling the truth? What if there is something more for us out there? Silence enveloped them for a moment, the crowd hushed in contemplation. Rachel felt the familiar pull of hope and fear collide in her heart. What if David had the answers they desperately needed? What if he was just another smooth talker? As she walked home with Sarah by her side, the setting sun cast long shadows, mirroring her worry. Would they uncover a future filled with possibility, or would old wounds just fester deeper? That night, as Rachel lay awake, thoughts swirling like a tempest, she clung to the thought that tomorrow might hold something transformative. She closed her eyes, whispering a silent prayer. Please, let this be real. In the back of her mind, she couldn't shake the feeling that something significant was brewing. But with excitement came a gnawing dread. Could they handle the truth, whatever it may be? Rachel sighed, staring at the dark ceiling, waiting for dawn. Tomorrow would bring answers, or perhaps more unearthly questions. She grasped her phone tightly, heart racing. An entire world of secrets was on the brink of revelation. And as the night deepened, she pondered, what truth was hidden in those family letters, waiting to change everything? Rachel woke to the sound of a child's laughter filtering through the nearby park. The sun spilled through her window, warm and golden, coaxing her out of the confines of restless sleep. She glanced at the clock. 3 hours had sped by since she whispered her prayer. The anxiety still coiled tightly in her chest, but the promise of the day ahead nudged her to take a deep breath. Mom, can I have pancakes today? Sarah's voice broke through her thoughts. Rachel managed a smile, feeling the weight of her worries lift just a little. Sure, she replied, finding solace in the mundane. They moved through their morning routine, sharing the kitchen as they whisked eggs and melted butter. The familiar scents filled their tiny apartment, wrapping them in a warm embrace, a stark contrast to the uncertainty awaiting them later. As Rachel watched Sarah eagerly stack her pancakes, her heart swelled with love. You've got to promise to keep our secret today, she said playfully, no hinting at what we're doing. Sarah giggled, I promise, Mom. But it's kinda exciting, right? Right. Rachel trailed off, her mind wandering back to David and what he might reveal. The cafe was abuzz with customers by the time they arrived. The atmosphere buzzed with chatter and the aroma of fresh coffee, but Rachel could barely focus on anything other than the ticking clock on the wall. The meeting point felt alive with possibility, each tick reminding her of the stakes involved. People began to filter in, some recognizing Rachel and giving her encouraging smiles. Patrick was somewhere in the back, arms crossed, a heavy frown etched across his face. He still didn't trust David, but Rachel could feel the curiosity simmering beneath his bravado. Finally, David walked through the door, looking determined. He spotted Rachel and Sarah, gave a small wave, and made his way over. He set a briefcase down on the table and faced them. Thank you for coming, he began, leaning slightly forward, his voice low but steady. What I have to share could change everything. Putting on a brave face, Rachel nodded, urging him to proceed. Let us get to it then. David opened the briefcase, revealing documents stacked neatly beside elegant old photographs. Rachel felt her heart race. This was more than just an array of papers. This was history, lives woven together in every faded image. He handed out copies of a family tree, meticulously drawn. This is my family's lineage, he explained, pointing to one name. This links directly to your great-grandfather, Rachel. Rachel's breath caught in her throat. They were bound by more than just shared walls. History carved their lives together in inexplicable ways. It was almost too much to process, David proceeded, pulling out letters, some yellowed and worn, others crisp and new. These letters were exchanged between our families. You'll see mentions of the sale, misunderstandings, and promises made. The fight for this neighborhood isn't just about property, it's about family, heritage, and rebuilding. A murmur of surprise rippled through the small crowd gathered around their table. Rachel's heart pounded, her eyes darting back and forth between the pages and the faces of those around her. This wasn't just about her. It was about them all. What has to happen next? Patrick spoke up, skepticism still lacing his voice. But it was softer than before, a hint of curiosity laced within. Rachel felt the shift in the atmosphere. If we're family, she said slowly, then we have to figure this out together. Not just tonight, but as a community. As the weight of those words settled in, Rachel sensed potential unearthing like the roots of a long-buried tree, the chance for reconciliation buried deep beneath the layers. David's eyes flashed with warmth. Could it be that he was revealing something for all the right reasons? I believe we can reclaim what's ours, he replied, but it requires all hands on deck. Hope blossomed in the space between them, and as Rachel witnessed this fleeting moment of unity, she wondered, could this really lead them to answers? But as questions rose and ideas spun into discussions, a thought nagged at Rachel's mind. What if the truth they uncovered was more than they could bear? Suddenly, without warning, the cafe door swung open, and a figure stepped inside. The collective chatter faded. The stranger was one Rachel recognized from the neighborhood, a known informant. But was he friend or foe? Rachel's breath caught, and an unspoken fear hung thick in the room. What was he here to say? What other truths were on the verge of revealing themselves? The cafe's atmosphere shifted as all eyes turned toward the door. The stranger stood framed in the entrance, his figure casting a long shadow over the people who were just beginning to embrace hope. He was tall, with an air that suggested he was both familiar and unsettling. Rachel's heart raced, not knowing whether she should feel alarmed or intrigued. Lance David's voice barely broke through the heavy silence, a mix of surprise and annoyance. Rachel felt a chill run down her spine. She'd heard the name whispered on the streets, always accompanied by hushed tones and wary glances. He was known for his connections, informal yet powerful, and his reputation hovered like a storm cloud in the neighborhood. David. Lance called out, a smirk growing on his face. Still playing protector, I see. Got your little community meeting going on? Ignoring the jab, David crossed his arms, his demeanor more serious. What do you want, Lance? We're not interested in trouble today. The informant stepped farther inside, brushing past patrons who were now frozen like statues, eyes darting between him and the trio at the table. Trouble? He scoffed, taking a seat without asking. I'm just here to share some information. Word travels fast, you know. Rachel clenched her hands beneath the table, tension throbbing through her. What kind of information? She demanded, desperate for control of the narrative. Lance leaned back, his eyes gleaming with mischief. Let's just say, he paused for dramatic effect, looking at each face in the room, your family ties go deeper than you think. And they might not be as reliable as you hope. David's jaw tightened. What are you implying? The hint of danger in Lance's smile made Rachel's stomach churn. You think you're rebuilding something noble here? You might just be opening a can of worms. Your past isn't a fairy tale, Rachel. A wave of gasps echoed through the cafe. Rachel's words felt trapped in her throat. The thought of betrayal, secrets buried under layers of history, sent ripples of unease through the crowd. Just tell us what you know, Patrick interjected, determination lining his voice. Fine, Lance replied, his tone casual but heavy with implication. I know some things about your great-grandfather. Things that could turn the family unity talk into complete chaos. Are you sure you want to chase this rabbit hole? Rachel's heart sank, dread spiraling within her. Her mind raced through the chats at dinner tables about her family, the stories passed down through generations. What if they were lies? We're open to the truth, she breathed, though her voice shook slightly. Lance leaned in, closer now, almost conspiratorial. There's a document, a will that's been hidden. It could change your entire understanding of ownership and what it means to belong. An uncomfortable murmur rippled through the patrons. Rachel's thoughts collided violently. What if everything she held onto was built on a lie? What if the property, the community, even her dreams were at risk? Why should we trust you? David countered, skepticism dripping from his voice. Because I have it, Lance replied with a smirk, pulling an envelope from inside his jacket. And I'm willing to share it, for a price. The tension skyrocketed, and the warmth of potential unity felt frayed at the edges. Rachel looked to the people around her. Eyes filled with fear, curiosity, but also a flicker of determination. What were they willing to sacrifice to uncover their family's truth? And at what cost? Before she could respond, Lance's eyes darted to the door as another figure stepped in, this time imposing and familiar. It was a local lawyer, someone who might know too much and could change everything. "Rachel," he called, fixing her with a serious gaze. "We need to talk." In that instant it was clear, the past was clawing its way into the present, and they were on the brink of encountering something far greater than property lines or family ties. Rachel's heart raced with a mix of fear and anticipation. What secrets awaited her now? And could they survive whatever storm was brewing? Rachel felt the weight of the lawyer's gaze like a physical force, pulling her toward a truth she hadn't yet comprehended. The cafe, once a sanctuary, now buzzed with an electric undercurrent of tension that held everyone captive. Lance, still losing confidence, leaned back in his chair, seeming thoroughly entertained by the unfolding drama. "Who's your friend, Rachel?" Lance drawled, a mix of mockery and interest swirling in his voice. Ignoring him, Rachel locked eyes with the lawyer. "Can you give me a moment?" she whispered. His presence was a lifeline, but his expression was grave. She stepped away from the table, her heart racing as she approached him. "What do you know?" she asked, her voice steady despite the rapid thumping in her chest. "There's been talk about the estate. Your family's connections to this community run deeper than people realize." "It's complicated," he said, glancing back at the group in the cafe, then lowering his voice even further. "And it's not just gossip. I have documents that could shed light on your situation, but you need to be prepared for the truth." Rachel nodded. She felt a mix of hope and dread curling in her stomach. "What kind of truth?" "Your great-grandfather didn't just pass down property. He was involved in some pretty significant dealings, things that could alter your family's legacy and its standing in this community. If Lance is here, that means someone's interested in shaking things up, and they're not the only ones." A chill ran through her. "What do you mean?" "There are factions who believe that the property should be divided differently or even sold. They see this as an opportunity." He glanced back at David and Patrick, who were still locked in a silent battle of wills with Lance. "You have to choose. Do you want to confront this head-on or protect what's left?" Rachel felt her stomach twist. The weight of her family's history was unbearable. I have to know. We have to know." The lawyer turned serious. "Then we need to get to the bottom of this," Lance mentioned, and fast. Behind them, Lance called out, "You guys can whisper sweet nothings all day, but the clock's ticking, Rachel. What's it going to be?" "I'll give you the document, but I need something in return." Lance's proposition hung heavy in the air. "What do you want?" Rachel asked, fresh resolve breaking through the confusion. She couldn't let fear dictate her future anymore. "Let's just say there's someone else I'd like you to talk to, someone who might have an even deeper connection to all of this. They can help us dig up the truth." Rachel's brow furrowed as uncertainty washed over her. Who could this person be? A part of her wanted to resist. But another part, one that had spent years fighting for the family she loved, pushed her boldly forward. "Fine," she said, narrowing her eyes at Lance. "Introduce me." The smirk on Lance's lips deepened, revealing a hint of respect. "Now that's what I'm talking about. But you may not like what you find. There are secrets in this town. And sometimes, the people we trust the most are the ones hiding the biggest lies." As the implications of his words settled, Rachel's breath quickened. She was on the precipice of something monumental. The truth was within reach, but it was tangled in layers of betrayal and pain. What sort of revelations awaited her, and were they worth the risk? She would soon find out, but first, she had to face the shadows of her past, and the haunting possibility that everything she held dear could unravel before her eyes. Just as she returned to the table, determined but terrified, the lawyer caught her eye and added, "Be careful. Once you start digging, you might unearth more than you bargained for." Rachel's heart raced again, but now it wasn't just fear she felt, it was the stirring of hope. She was ready to fight for her family, no matter the cost, but she couldn't shake the feeling that the storm was only beginning. What truths were lurking in the shadows? And would they be enough to break her spirit or set her free? Rachel took a deep breath as she settled back into her seat, her mind racing. The cafe, bustling with the chatter of patrons and the scent of fresh coffee, felt surreal. As comforting as the familiar surroundings were, they couldn't erase the weight of Lance's words hanging over her. Lance leaned forward, the gleam in his eye unmistakable. "I'll set it up. But timing is everything. You're going to have to move fast." Her resolve hardened. She glanced toward David and Patrick, who were still watching with knitted brows, unaware of the storm brewing beneath the surface. "Fine. Let us do this." "Great," Lance said, his voice dripping with confidence. "Meet my friend, Sage, tomorrow at noon. She knows more than you think." "Where?" "Your type of place," he confirmed, smirking. Rachel wanted to argue further, but irritation pulsed within her. Instead, she focused on what lay ahead. As she finished her coffee, her thoughts drifted to her family, her grandmother's loving smile, her father's quiet determination, her mother's laughter. They had all endured so much just to maintain the facade of normalcy. What truths would she uncover, and at what cost? After leaving the cafe, the air outside felt different, charged, like before a storm. As she walked to her car, she mentally rehearsed her questions for Sage. Would this stranger be a source of clarity or just another layer of complexity? Her phone buzzed against her thigh, pulling her from her thoughts. It was a message from her grandmother, a simple "thinking of you, dear." Tears welled up as her heart ached for the steadfast women in her life, each of whom had fought battles invisible to the world. Just as she was about to, once home, Rachel dove into researching on her laptop, determined to arm herself with knowledge before her meeting. As the screen flickered, she stumbled upon articles and old court documents hinting at various land disputes tied to her great-grandfather. Each word felt like a thread, and she was slowly unraveling a tapestry woven with secrets. Time slipped away, and before she knew it, evening rolled in. She spent hours piecing together fragments of her family's past, hoping for a glimpse of truth amidst the confusion. As she finally leaned back in her chair, the weight of what might lie ahead threatened to suffocate her. What if she learned something that shattered everything she believed about her family? What if the ties that bound her to them were more complex than love? A knot twisted in her stomach, but she brushed it aside. Fear could not dictate her journey now. The following morning, Rachel woke ready to confront whatever awaited her. She glanced at her reflection, weary but fierce. "You've got this," she whispered to herself. As she caught sight of the clock, panic erupted. She was running late. Racing through her morning routine, she practically rushed out the door. The drive felt longer than usual, and her heart pounded with anticipation. Leaving her breathless, Sage awaited in a small tea shop blanketed in warm light, as expected. Rachel stepped inside, eyes scanning the cozy space until they locked onto a figure in the corner, a woman with sharp features and an intense aura. There was something familiar about her presence that made Rachel's skin prickle with recognition. Could this be the key to unlock the tangled history that threatened to consume her? Or would it lead her further into the unknown, with truths that could forever change the course of her family legacy? With a deep breath, Rachel approached the table, her heart pounding. It was time to uncover the secrets of her past, but what could one conversation reveal about the future? Rachel approached the table, her pulse racing with every step. Sage looked up, her piercing gaze analyzing Rachel as if she were a puzzle piece missing from a grand picture. There was an air of authority around her that felt both intimidating and inviting. Rachel hesitated for a moment before extending her hand. "Hi, I'm Rachel." Her voice was steadier than she imagined, but the apprehension lingered deep within. Sage accepted her handshake with a firm grip, giving Rachel a small nod. "I know why you're here." Her voice was smooth yet edged with something sharper, like the fine line between fear and excitement. Rachel's heart sank. "Do you?" "Because I feel a bit lost right now." Sage studied her for a moment. "Why don't you take a seat? We can start from the beginning." As Rachel sat down, she felt a rush of emotions swirl inside her: fear, hope, and a yearning for answers. The warm aroma of tea enveloped her, but it couldn't chase away the cold doubt creeping in. Would Sage offer the clarity she craved or drown her in more confusion? "I've been looking into my family's past," Rachel began, diving in. "There are some things about my great-grandfather that don't add up." Sage nodded, her eyes narrowing slightly. "The land disputes, right? That's where all the secrets begin." Rachel's breath hitched. "You know about them?" "Enough to understand the implications," Sage replied, her tone measured. "Your family has a legacy of silence. There are things they've kept guarded, even from themselves." An odd shiver danced along Rachel's spine. She swallowed hard. "What do you mean, even from themselves?" Sage leaned in, lowering her voice as if sharing a conspiracy. "The land disputes are just the tip of the iceberg. It's not just about property, it involves decisions made long ago that resonate into your present." Rachel's mind raced. "What kind of decisions?" "Your great-grandfather made some choices that changed everything, including who you believe you are and who your family really represents," Sage explained, her gaze unflinching. Every word felt like a weight pressing down on Rachel's chest. Was it true? What if her ancestors weren't the heroes she had romanticized? The knot in her stomach tightened further. But why would they hide this? Aren't families supposed to be honest with each other? Honesty can be a weapon, Rachel. Sometimes it's easier to keep things buried than to risk shattering the illusion of a perfect family, Sage replied softly, a hint of understanding shining through her intense demeanor. The urgency in Rachel's chest intensified. "What do I need to do? How can I find the truth?" Sage sat back, contemplating. "You have to decide how far you're willing to go. Are you ready to challenge your family's narrative? Because it won't be easy." Rachel's heart pounded wildly as the gravity of her decision crashed over her. She thought of her grandmother, the strength in her mother's laughter, the love that had always surrounded her, and now felt the looming shadow of the unknown surrounding her. What if those strands were built on lies? "I'm ready," Rachel finally said, her voice steadying. "I have to know what the truth is, no matter how painful." Sage's expression softened slightly. "Good. Then we have much to explore." They spent the next few hours diving into research, Sage opening doors to old records and hidden tales. Each document unveiled a past intertwined with deception, but also hope. Rachel felt a fire ignite within her, courage rising to meet the challenges ahead. As the sun dipped low in the sky outside the tea shop window, a fresh wave of determination washed over Rachel. Just as she was beginning to feel confident, Sage paused, her expression shifting to one of worry. "Rachel, there's something you should know. The deeper you dig, the more you risk losing what you hold dear." Rachel's heart skipped a beat. Should she choose truth or safety? What lay ahead? The weight of her choice loomed like a storm cloud. "What do you mean?" Rachel pressed, desperation creeping into her voice. Sage looked away, her eyes clouded with something. Rachel couldn't quite place. "The truth has a way of changing everything. Are you prepared for that?" Rachel felt a chill crawl up her spine as she stared into Sage's eyes. Could she face the truth if it meant shattering her family's legacy? What depths would she have to plunge into now? With a last look at Sage, she knew this was just the beginning and the unknown journey had only just begun. What awaited her on that path? The sun had barely risen over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of soft orange and pink. This dawn felt different for Rachel. It held the promise of change, the whisper of hope flitting through her mind like a gentle breeze. Today was not only about uncovering the truth but also about what that truth could mean for her family and the community she'd grown to love so fiercely. Determined, Rachel sat with her children over breakfast, their laughter lightening the heavy weight in her heart. How could she face the day's revelations when they could alter everything she thought she knew? Yet, taking one look at Sarah and Liam, their innocent smiles and playful jests, she felt a renewed strength surge within her. She had to fight not just for herself, but for them too. At the cafe, the same warmth bathed the space, but tension crackled in the air like static electricity. Rachel arrived early, her heart pounding in rhythm with the ticking clock. The stakes had never felt higher. Would Sage bring answers, or would the day shatter everything? In her gut, a mixture of anticipation and dread swirled. She would find out soon enough. Sage arrived, her expression serious but not unkind. "Ready?" she asked, and Rachel nodded, summoning every ounce of courage within her. As they settled into a corner table, Sage laid out more documents, evidence of ties buried deep, stories intertwined with legacy and loss. They were not just land issues, Sage explained, laying down a faded photograph of Rachel's great-grandfather with expressions remote and stern. "Your family's wealth came from questionable practices. There are decisions, alliances connected to that wealth that could haunt your lineage. Most of all, there's a lie at the center of it all, something that affects your identity." Rachel swallowed hard, memories of her childhood flickering through her mind like scattered photographs. "What lie?" Her voice trembled against the enormity of the question. Sage glanced around, ensuring privacy. "You may be living in a home once filled with privilege and secrets. You have every right to challenge that narrative. You have the power to redefine legacy." Rachel inhaled sharply. "What if digging reveals more than I can handle?" "It could bring pain, yes, but it could also bring reconciliation," Sage said, eyes fierce. "You'll unearth both darkness and light. Ultimately, which one do you choose to carry forward?" A flicker of realization hit Rachel. She had already chosen. She had chosen truth when she stood up for herself at the community gathering. Deep down, she knew, her children deserved that truth, that chance to understand who they were. Gathering her strength, she whispered, "I want to know." The resolve flowed through her, propelling her forward. As Sage presented the documents, a tapestry of her family's hidden history began to unfold. Each name, each date, intertwined with stories of sacrifice, betrayal, and the eventual struggle for integrity. As the layers peeled back, Rachel marveled at those who had come before her, not only for what they had done but also for the resilience they had shown shaping her identity. Hours blurred together, but finally, Rachel looked up, breathless. "I can't let this stay hidden any longer. I want to invite the community to hear this, to wrestle with it together." Sage regarded her, a hint of respect warming her features. "That's brave of you. I'm not doing it alone. I have my family, I have the community." Rachel clutched the documents tightly, the urgency of her words fire-hot. "This belongs to everyone." So they worked late into the afternoon, crafting a plan to host a gathering, where Rachel would share her findings, her truth, the good and the bad. The day of the gathering arrived, and the neighborhood buzzed like bees around a bloom. People flowed into the gathering space, curiosity painting their faces with anticipation and tension. Rachel stood before them, heart racing, paper clutched tightly in her hands, trembling slightly. "I've spent the last days uncovering my family's history," she began, her voice ringing out clear. "And true. What I've learned, while painful, reminds me that truth is vital, for it's the path to healing and connection." The crowd listened, rapt and still, as she recounted the stories, each one bare and honest. The shame, the pride, the hidden pain wrapped within their collective history, it was daunting. "You need to know that we're all part of this. These papers do not represent the end of our community, they're the beginning of a new chapter. Together, we can rewrite our legacy to include love, truth, and healing." As she spoke, she glimpsed Patrick in the crowd, and for once, the skepticism in his eyes softened, replaced by a flicker of understanding. When she finished, a hush lingered over the room. Then, a quiet voice from the back broke through. "Thank you, Rachel." An elderly neighbor stepped forward, a radiant smile breaking through. "You've given us the truth, and we're with you." One by one, people began to stand, their voices rising echoes of solidarity and acceptance. A wave of connection washed over Rachel like a renewed warmth. They were linking arms through truth, united in shared healing. The darkness that had once threatened to divide them transformed into rays of light, illuminating a way forward. They were not merely neighbors, they were a community ready to own their history and strive for brighter tomorrows. Together, tears welled in Rachel's eyes as she surveyed the crowd, her heart swelling with gratitude. She had faced the storms of doubt and unearthed the truth. Now she stood surrounded by love and support. Days turned into weeks, and each moment brought them closer, stronger as a community. Rachel spent time integrating new values and rebuilding relationships, her children surrounded by love, supported by those who understood their journey. As she tucked Sarah and Liam in that night, Rachel smiled, reflecting on the transformation within her. They had broken the chains of denial, embraced the light of unity, and walked boldly toward the future. The house, once a symbol of privilege, became a beacon of hope, a monument where resilience and love thrived. Rachel stood in the doorway, gazing out at the starlit sky, grateful, emboldened, and finally home. This is the moment for you. Subscribe immediately to our channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that could inspire your journey. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. It truly makes a difference. Comment below and share your reactions and feelings about this emotional ending. We want to hear from you. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting our channel through these actions. Let's build this community together.